Hi, let me know. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see me as usual. Guys, tell me in the comments if you can see me, you can hear me before we jump into our discussion today. Hope everyone is doing really well. As usual, I want to come on and just talk to you about something that's very important for your business, right? So I'm doing a multi sharing. I'm on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook on all of my business pages. Yeah. So I'm streaming in multiple places. So in case you see my eyes moving and right, just know that's the reason why. So today I want to talk to you about the importance of your brand, right? We come on here a lot of times and we talk about your marketing and your sales and your content creation and all of those great things, right? But all of those things also affect your brand. When you're talking about your marketing, you're talking about how do I get my brand out there. When you're talking about sales, you're talking about how do I get somebody to buy into my brand, right? And that brand could, whether your business, you are the face of your business, or whether you don't have a face to your business, it doesn't matter because every business, sorry, every business is a brand. Hi, John. Every business is a brand, right? And you have to say to yourself, what what do I want to be known as, and what do I want to be known for? When you're talking about your brand, you're talking about the image that your customers have of your business, right? If I had to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, do you think that your customers have a really positive, a really positive idea of your brand? What would your customers rate your brand? If you could tell me in the comments, what would your customers rate your brand between 1 and 10? Right? Those are the kind of things you need to think about and make sure that you are doing things to ensure that you remain a 10. And there's some of the things that we want to talk about, right? We don't talk about branding a lot, but we talk about marketing and sales and content creation and all those great things. But at the end of the day, as I always say to you guys, all of these things are interconnected, right? They all work together to get you to where you need to be, right? You can't talk marketing without talking content creation, without talking a sales strategy. They all work together, right? And sometimes you might find that, I'm really strong at this, but I'm not as strong as this. You have to figure out how to make it all work together, and all of these things affect your branding. So today we're going to talk about 5 things that affect your branding if you're brand new, because I know we have a bunch of new people. I am Adana Austin. I am your business coach and consultant, and I work with high-end entrepreneurs like yourself to get very clear on your goals, identify your ideal clients, and develop the strategies to grow your business, right? And part of that conversation is about your branding. So one of the first things that affects your branding, right? Because it might be your brand is what your customers, the image that your customers have of your business. So one of the first things that affects your brand and what people think about your brand is your messaging. You see, we go back to content creation, right? Is the things that you are saying to them. If you speak in a particular way, if you use particular types of words, if you use, those types of things, those messages that you're sharing, if you use particular types of imagery to attract your ideal clients and that kind of thing, that is part of your brand. When somebody sees your logo pops up or they see your name pop up on their screen, right? What is the first thing that they are going to think? Are they going to think, oh my God, yeah, this person is really helpful? Or, oh my God, no, I don't want to see what she posts because it's always so, it's always so cringe, or that person curses too much if that's not your thing, or that person, is too religious for me, or that person, doesn't identify with me, or whatever it is, right? Because there's so many different types of people and types of businesses in the world. But you have to say to yourself, as a business owner, what do I want my audience to think about when they see my name pop up on the screen? When I say my name, your business name. When you see your business name pop up on the screen, what do you want them to think? What do you want them to feel? Right? And that is going to direct how you position your brand. Now, obviously, with your brand, there are some things that you have control over and some things that you have no control over. But the thing that you have control over, you need to pay a lot of attention to that, right? So as I said, the one big thing, put number one in the chat for me. Just put one, right? The first big thing is your messaging. What are you sharing with your audience? What are you saying to them? What type of language are you using? Are you speaking in their language? Are you using, you know what I mean? Even if you're doing videos for them, are you speaking in the tone that they would usually resonate with, or even with? You know what I mean? That messaging is going to impact your brand, right? Does that make sense? That messaging that you're putting out, the visuals that you're putting out, the memes that you're putting out, the videos that you're putting out, the stories, the reels, the carousels, that all of that is your messaging, and that affects what people think and feel about your brand. So the first thing is your messaging, right? Just give me a one if you understand this so far, right? If you're coming in after, just put replay, and I will know that you came in after. So your first thing is your messaging. Your messaging is the first thing that affects your brand and what people think and believe. The second thing is your customer service, and I'm not doing in any particular order, right? We're just talking. The second thing is your customer service, your policies and procedures, because yes, that will affect your brand. Because you could have the best product or service out there, right? But if your customer service is lacking, then people are not going to come to buy from you. It doesn't matter if you have the most competitive price, and it doesn't matter how great your product will be. Yes, you may have people who will still come, but those people who are getting bad customer service from you are going to go online like we usually see, and say all kind of negative things about your business, right? And you want to keep that to a minimum as much as possible. So your customer service affects your brand. If you are known for really good customer service from the beginning of the sale to the end of the sale, and the follow up after is not just well as answer them in the DMs, right? The whole process, that whole customer service experience, right? If they get a bad experience, or if something happens that is out of your control, how you respond to that thing. If they had a negative experience for whatever reason, because life happens, right? There was a delay in the shipment, there was, the food didn't taste as good as possible, you didn't meet a deadline or something like that, because life happens. How did you respond to that? That is your customer service, and that would affect your brand. Not just how fast you respond, but also how well you respond. Whether you decide to give them a discount, or whether, if you have some kind of thing that you have no control over, that you continuously, keeping them in the loop and letting them know what is happening and that kind of thing. Those things will affect your customer service, as well as your policies, right? Your policies also form part of your customer service, which affects your brand. So your policies as to if somebody is not satisfied, what is the turnaround time? If they message you and say they weren't satisfied with your product or your service, do you reimburse them? Do you give them a discount on the next sale? Do you get on a call with them and figure out exactly what was the issue? Do you have a customer service um, system set up in place, for your policies and stuff, to make sure that no matter the interaction with your brand, your customers are having a great experience. So your customer service and your policies also affect the image, which is the brand, the image that your customers have of your business. It can affect your brand. Give me a two if that's making sense. Give me a two if that's making sense. Yeah. So your messaging affects your brand, right? And your customer service or policies also affect your brand, what people feel and think about your business. The third thing that can affect your brand, and I think a lot of us don't pay a lot of attention with it, is the reviews and testimonials that you get, right? And again, this is also tied into your customer service. That can negatively affect your brand, because if people are coming online and saying really negative things, that you're not responding, they didn't like the quality of your product, they didn't like the service that they received, and that kind of thing. That will affect your brand because people natural human instinct, right? They if you go to Amazon to shop, right, and you see something you really like, what is the first thing that you do? You go and you check the reviews, right? And based on the reviews that people leave for you, that can affect if somebody decides to move forward with buying from you or hiring you to do whatever it is your offer is, right? So you have to pay close attention to the testimonials and reviews. And this is how your customer service comes in. Once you make sure that your customer service is good, that your messaging is good, because all of these things are related, right? Your messaging is strong, your customer service is strong, your policies are in place, and you're making sure that there's a system in place to deal with the good and the bad, right? Then you are more prone to get positive reviews because that can affect your business. One bad review mightn't affect your business, but if somebody goes onto your business page, your social media page, your Facebook page where people can leave a review, or your Google business page, and they see a bunch of negative reviews, that can affect it. In addition, if people are not seeing any reviews, if you have no reviews at all, you have nowhere where somebody can read or hear what somebody else's experience was like with your business, that can also affect your brand. Because if you have no reviews, you have no testimonials, right? Somebody might look at her and say, well, nobody has bought from them as yet. I don't know if anybody's buying from them. I don't know what the quality is like. I don't know if, their customer service is good, because I'm not seeing anybody saying that they have actually worked with this person or bought from this person or eaten from this person or anything like that, right? Or worked with this person. So not having any testimonials and reviews is also not a good thing, because that can also affect your brand. It can affect the image that your customers have of your business. Give me a 3 if that's making sense. Is that making sense? So we talked about your messaging affects your brand. We talk about your customer service and your policies affecting your brand, and your reviews and testimonials affecting your brand. So give me a 3 if that is making complete sense to you. Yes? Number 4. Number 4 is more for those businesses that have a physical location. So it's a physical location and an online location, right? And both of them can affect your brand. So let's talk about the physical location. Now, not every business has a physical location, but if you do have a physical location, you have to also take into consideration when somebody comes into my physical space. First of all, can they find my place easy? Right? Do I have good enough instructions of how to find my place? Do I have my address clearly identified on my socials or my website or whatever? Right? But when they come into my physical space, how are they greeted? What is the first thing they see? What is the first thing they smell? What is the first experience? Are they going to be wowed when they walk into my physical space? Because that also can affect your brand. If somebody comes into your physical space, now if it was hard to find, number one, but then if they come into your physical space and then the place is just cluttered, it's overwhelming, it's hot, it's dusty, it's you all know exactly what I mean, right? This can affect your brand, because the thing is, you may have great products in there, you may even have a great price, but if somebody comes into your space and they are overwhelmed or even underwhelmed, that can affect your brand. That would affect, and this is like a physical image of what people will think about your brand, what your customers imagine about your brand, right? So that's for your physical space. Now, for those of you who don't have a physical space, but you actually have a online space, and your online space could be your website, right? Or even your social media page, right? If somebody visits your website or visits your social media page, and again, it's hard to navigate. It's hard for them to find information. It's hard for them to find your contact information or your email address, or it's hard for them to figure out how to actually buy from you, right? How to contact you. If that system is not seamless, that is going to affect your brand. You understand, guys? So these are all the things that you have to think about when you are doing your business. Because a lot of times when we talk about business, we talk about, well, yes, we have to post on social media 3 times in the week. And yes, we have to do a video. And yes, we want to do a blog. And yes, we want to do all these things. But you have to think beyond just doing the things. You have to think about what is the experience that my customer is what is the experience that they are having when they come to my social media? What is the experience when they come to my website? Is it easy to navigate? Are they finding the things properly or quickly? Are they seeing the prices clearly? Is it very clear to them where they have to check out, right? Or how to contact me? What is the experience that your customers are having in your physical location as well as in your online location? Even if you go to even if you take part in like some of those pop-up shops and those kind of things, right? It's not just about having a table and putting out your wares. You want to say to yourself, what is the experience my customers are going to experience? What is the experience they're going to have when they come to my table? How can I make my presence memorable? How can I make my website memorable? How can I make my social media memorable so that they will continue to come back for more and more and more? You understand? Give me a 4 that is making sense. Give me a 4 that is making sense to you. Yeah. So your location, your physical location, as well as your online location, the layout, the feeling, the experience that your customers have. Yeah, that is going to affect your brand presence. It's going to affect your brand image. It's going to affect what people think, people say about you, right? It's going to affect your dollars and cents, because that is going to affect if they decide to come back. It's also going to affect if they decide to leave a review. It's going to affect if they decide to refer you to other people, right? So you have to make sure that these things are in place and your customer has a great experience no matter what. And the last and final thing, I said I was only dealing with 5, right? Because we have many that we can deal with. We're only dealing with 5 today. The 5th and final thing that can affect your brand is actually your offers and services. Your offers and services. And let me explain what that means. And this ties into your messaging, right? You have to decide, okay, who are my ideal clients, right? And make sure that when you are coming up with your offers, or you coming up with whatever you want to sell to them, that it is in alignment with them, right? If you are putting out messaging that speaks about, struggle and it hard and we poor and and you understand what I'm saying? Then that's the kind of people you're going to attract, right? Similarly, you have to be very mindful with your offers. You have to make sure that the offers and the services that you're putting out is exactly what they want, right? You can't bring things. I had a client like that. She was bringing stuff into Trinidad to sell to people. And I kept saying to her, but what market research have you done to make sure that people actually want this thing? Now, it might be a big hit in the States and that kind of thing, but that's a totally different culture than us, right? You have to do that market research to make sure that your offer and your service is something that is in demand, or enough people require it, or enough people are looking for it and are willing to pay for it, right? So that you can be successful. Because if you're bringing in things that are of a low quality, or things that people don't necessarily want, people are going to watch your brand and say, well, what's she doing? What is she doing? What is she bringing in? That ain't making no kind of sense. This is why you need to know your audience. Yeah. And once you know your audience, then your offers and your services will make sense. And as I tell people a lot of times, because it excites you as a business, the thought of this business excites you doesn't mean it's going to be successful. You have to do your market research to make sure that this is something that people need, enough people need, and enough people want, so that you can make a profit, and then you can position your brand as the premier seller of so, the premier service provider of X, Y, and Z. So you do your market research, you understand who your clients are so that your offers will make sense. Your offers will make sense. And just to give you a little bonus that is added on to that conversation is that your pricing affects your brand. Yeah? Give me a 5. Give me a 5 in the chat. Your pricing affects your brand, because if you are, we have this misconception. A lot of new entrepreneurs have this really huge misconception about, I need to charge the lowest price, or I need to always be having discounts and sales, and that is how I'm going to get people to buy. And in fact, what you're doing, you are damaging your brand by having that type of business, right? Or by operating like that. Now, as I always say, there's nothing wrong with having a sale. There's nothing wrong with, offering discounts every now and again, right? But every Monday morning cannot be about a discount or a sale, because you're damaging your brand. You are, in other words, telling your audience that you are very cheap, and you're going to attract very, very, very cheap people, right? And when you attract cheap people, you struggle. You have to work twice as hard, I should say. You have to work twice as hard to hit your financial goal. People are going to buy from you based on the price that you want to charge once you are positioning yourself well, and once you're offering them great service. People will pay, right? Offer them great service, have great customer service, and people will pay. So your pricing, right? Because we like to say, what's it what people say? Good thing not cheap and cheap thing not good, right? Your pricing can also affect your brand, how people think about your brand, what people imagine about your brand. Because if it is too low, people are going to think you're too cheap, right? And cheaper doesn't always equate to better. Cheaper equates to lower quality. And you don't want to position your brand as a low quality brand. You want to position your brand as a premium quality brand. Now, in that conversation, yes, you may have different tiers, meaning you have a low ticket item, mid ticket items, and high ticket items. And that's fine, but that's still very much different from discounting and sales, right? Because if you have a low, mid, and high, then obviously the distinction between each level has to be very, very clear to your ideal clients, right? So if I'm just buying an earring, yes, I'll spend $200. If I'm buying an earring and a handbag, right, then yeah, I'm going to spend $500. And then if I'm buying a, you know what I mean, I'm buying a bigger bundle, it's going to cost more. So it has to make sense. So your pricing will also affect your branding. So that was a bonus. So give me a 6 in the chat. That was just a bonus, right? So guys, as you move forward this week into your business, take a step back. Look at your messaging. Look at the things that you're saying about your business. Look at the things that you're sharing with your audience about your business. Look at your customer service and your policies. Is it seamless? Is it easy for people to find me? Is it easy for people to buy from me? Is it easy for people to navigate in my store, find my store? Is it easy for them to even find my website? Is it easy for them to buy if they land on my website? Is it very easy for them to buy? Is my pricing very clear? Right? All of these things affect your brand. Think about your brand and ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? And what do I want to be known as? How can I make my brand more memorable? What do I want people to remember and remember about their experience with me? What do I want them to say to other people about their experience with me? Yes, because all of this forms part of your brand identity. Yeah, so I wanted to share that with you guys today. Thank you very much for listening. And as usual, guys, if you have any questions, jump into my DMs, leave a comment underneath this video, and let's continue the conversation, right? Let's continue the conversation about the things that you need to pay close attention to in building your business, right? So I hope this message finds you well. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're listening to this on the replay, just put replay in the comments so I can measure who's listening to it on the replay. Yeah. So guys, have a great day and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.